Well, thank you everyone for joining us for another video about impact insurance. Today, I am joined by Brad Stevenson and Nick Gardner of Premiums for the Planet. Thank you so much for joining me, both of you. And Brad, why don't you start us off by giving us a little bit of background information about yourself?
Thanks, Amy. I appreciate it, and thanks for the opportunity. So, I actually started my career in diversity consulting back in the early 90s in Chicago with an interest to just see how we could increase inclusivity and equity. In workplaces initially, I was focused, and uh, doing that for a short amount of time, I was honestly a bit disappointed. And it was a different time then than it is now. And I think there's a really amazing opportunity to make progress today. But I think that work informed my theory of change around how we need to tackle and in some cases break and rebuild the things that have been made in our current economic system. And so I went to an organization called the Boston Consulting Group to learn how to speak capitalism and to try to amass to the extent possible a network of influential folks that I could then come back at the challenges of our society and try to break and remake the things with an understanding of how they work from the inside. And so I've spent really a career spread between starting organizations, running them through turnaround or high growth, and consulting to them, and always trying to focus at these intersections where there's a really important purpose that can be scaled um, with the tailwind of understanding the market economy and a purpose that you can find that intersection and really scale the change that we need to see. And in 2017, had the opportunity to do this work in banking, where we actually convened a movement around sustainability in banking and banks. And I'll go into that a bit more later, but that really led to a complete eye-opening for me and for the role of uh, finance in the future of habitability on the planet. And so that was a big inflection point in my career that ultimately led us to building premiums for the planet. So thanks for asking.
And Nick, how about you?
Yeah, and thanks again, Amy, for the opportunity. My name is Nick Gardner, and I head up partnerships and our membership programs here at Premiums for the Planet. Most of my career has been spent in technology. Most recently, before Premiums, I was at Salesforce for a number of years working on our net zero cloud sustainable technology team, and really got the opportunity to work with a lot of our Fortune 100 clients on the problems that they're looking to solve within a broader sustainability strategy, and then married the Salesforce tech stack to those problems. And so it was a great crash course on learning how big organizations use all of their different levers to deliver impact and change. And as my work got more and more focused on the financial sector at Salesforce, started to learn more about the financial side of that, both from banking and insurance to everything under that finance to mission umbrella, and ultimately got connected to Brad through a guy named Patrick Flynn, who is the head of sustainability at Salesforce and advisor to us here at Premiums for the Planet, and have been working with Brad ever since.
Wonderful. So Brad, you founded an organization called Premiums for the Planet, which is a certified B Corp, and it describes itself as a movement to change the insurance industry into a force for protecting the environment. So how does Premiums for the Planet hope to do that?
Thanks. So Premiums for the Planet uh, really hopes to harness the massive influence and power of the insurance industry toward positive climate action by organizing a movement, by aggregating essentially the insurance spend and the brand voice and influence of climate conscious for-profit and nonprofit organizations into a movement and a market force that can create more both financial as well as a brand inspiration for insurance carriers to lead and see their sustainability leadership as a really important and sustainable competitive advantage for their business. Uh, and
Great.
that's the yeah, I think that's really the critical piece is that the market demand and creating an organized place to to harness it.
So is your platform membership available for individuals, or is it just for companies who need to purchase insurance?
So we're actually working on a consumer offering, and we're definitely open to taking consumer interest at this point. Our strategic focus, and we really learned a lot about this in our banking work, is the commercial or the organizational insurance. And with organizations as a center of influence, understanding that every organization has a tremendous footprint and a tremendous ability to bring together, whether it's their supply chains or their peers, ultimately their employees and potentially their consumers. So we definitely look at the strategic imperative initially as the organization and are building into the consumer side.
GreenieRE, we share your goal of using insurance for good, but I'm curious about why you decided to focus in on insurance and what made you realize that insurance could be used to make a difference in protecting the environment and mitigating against the effects of climate change.
Thank you. Yeah, we feel like insurance is such an important and such an overlooked uh, opportunity, a lever, an ally to harness in this fight for climate action. And we really saw this for the first time in the banking work that we did. And roughly 2017, we had an opportunity to get involved in the banking space and sustainability. And we helped to convene a movement that included organizations like 1% for the Planet and Protect Our Winners and the Conservation Alliance, and uh, really powerful brands like Burton and REI and Patagonia, and bringing them together and collectively working to educate and help organizations and individuals understand that their money in the bank doesn't just sit there. It goes out and it funds things, and 90% of that money is shaping the direction of our market economy, because what gets funded gets done in a market economy. And as we embarked on that work, and it was incredibly successful, ultimately moving hundreds of millions of dollars in big brand banking relationships and getting cause partners really activated and educating their members, we saw, wait, the if banks are the largest money managers on the planet, insurance carriers are the second largest money managers on the planet, but nobody raises money without insurance, and nobody um, operates a business without insurance. And so it quickly became apparent to us that even with those layers of potential alone, those decisions about what to invest in and what to insure or not insure, that the insurance industry has a massive potential to direct um, the course of what activities proliferate and which ones are pushed to transition. Not to mention a number of other layers that are much more subtle about the way insurance policies are written and how they drive behavior of organizations and practices, or their significant influence as lobbyists about what regulations are adopted or blocked. And so there's a number of layers, but when we saw the power of insurance as an apex industry to drive the direction of a market economy, it was something that we couldn't ignore.
Yeah, that's so interesting when you think about insurance companies as being both these huge money managers who impact so much of the investments in our economy, but also they have this other role where, you know, the policies that they're writing, because they face climate risks, so they can also have an impact on sustainability and climate mitigation based on the way that they handle their policies. So it's a really interesting way of looking at it. And, you know, I want to go back to something you mentioned before where, you know, companies have to buy insurance. You can't do anything without insurance. And I think a lot of people think of insurance as something they have to buy. They shop around for the best price, and then they don't think about it again until maybe they have to file a claim. And so, you know, what's the reaction been to Premiums for the Planet so far? Have people been surprised to see how much of a difference that they can make when they're directing their premium dollars to different mission-driven companies?
Yeah, thank you for asking. The reaction to individuals that we speak with, whether they're really sophisticated financial execs, even in very climate conscious organizations, to individuals like me that are, you know, up until recently just kind of buy insurance or use a bank without thinking twice. And it's amazing to watch the light bulb turn on and to see this very simple, typically kind of a grudge spend, an administrative transactional cost that we mostly spend as little time as we can having to deal with.
Right.
And then they suddenly realize the global sort of meta implications of collectively of what this industry means to this conversation that we're all on the edge of our seats trying to influence.
Right.
It's incredible to see the light bulb go on. And it's also really gratifying that, in many cases, we learn something, that knowledge creates a problem that we have to solve, but there is really not a good solution that's easily attainable. And so it's really gratifying to be able to also then say, and here's a solution, and it doesn't cost anything, and it doesn't take any more effort than what you already do, and it takes that money you're going to spend anyway, and it gives it impact and mission alignment and brand value for something that until moments ago was just a administrative transaction.
That's so wonderful to hear. I mean, I think anybody who works in the climate space has witnessed the light bulb moment in speaking with someone, and that's always really exciting to witness. But then the next question that people ask is, well, what can we do? And to have a solution for them that is right there and easily accessible. And like you said, it's not going to increase their premiums. You're just going to move the money somewhere else. That's really fantastic. So that's so great to hear. And Premiums for the Planet is a fairly new organization. So Nick, I'm hoping you can tell us a little bit about what you've accomplished with your early adopters, especially because here at GreenieRE, as a nonprofit impact insurer, we see you as a great partner in the work that we're doing to take on the climate exposures that traditional insurance deems too risky.
Yeah, and we see you as a great partner as well. So thank you for saying that. And with this stage of our organization, building the movement in critical mass is incredibly important to have that market force behind us. And we've been really humbled and really lucky to have a lot of fantastic early adopters, from folks like Burton to Outside Inc. to 1% for the Planet to Conservation Alliance, Sustainable Surf, Climate Neutral, all these amazing organizations that lead with mission value and sustainability first. And is a great testament to the work we're doing. And again, we're really humbled by their support, but also their voice to help get the movement off the ground. And in turn, they've also been tremendous cause partners as we look to expand our reach, really looking into those networks for how we can co-movement build together and use insurance as the tip of the spear for the conversation to get us all rowing in the same direction. And I think through that amplification, through their help, through a number of amazing advisors we have in our network, champions in our network, team members that seem to pop up out of nowhere, and it just seems like a lot of great people are really finding the movement and helping us spread, our voice and really launch into 2024. And so, as we get going for this year, what we're really excited and motivated about is continuing to work with those early adopters to move forward some of our earlier stage initiatives, but also we've had a lot of tremendous conversations with some of the leading organizations across different, market categories. And as we begin to bring on more and more of those brands, thinking more strategically about how we can show up with them at the right events, with the right opportunities, and in the right forums. Last year, we were, fortunate enough to be highlighted by Grant Harrison from GreenBiz. We're at a number of events that we're looking to be at again this year, and then also with groups like 1% for the Planet, Climate Collaborative, B Lab, some of these other organizations, really building out programs to not only just add value for our members, but also their members as well. And so all that's to say, we're just super excited and have a lot of gratitude for what's taken place over the last year. And as we have conversations with GreenieRE and other folks within the insurance industry, it's really motivating to see a narrative change within it and how we can all row together to create the impact that we want. And so thank you for platforms like this, and we look forward to more of them in the months and year to come.
Yeah, that's so exciting. And I'm looking forward to seeing where Premiums for the Planet goes next. And Brad, Nick, thank you so much for joining me today, for telling us more about your organization. If you would like to learn more about Premiums for the Planet, please check out premiumsfortheplanet.com and stay tuned for more videos about impact insurance. Thanks again for joining us, and have a great day.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.